Lindsay the librarian, and I'm here with the July edition of the book report and the books that we're really excited about this month. So, to get started, now don't judge this book by its cover, please, because I know the cover is awful. But it's been getting really good reviews, so give it a chance, okay? So this is The Star Side of Bird Hill by debut author Naomi Jackson. And it's about two sisters that in the summer of 1989, their mother, who can't take care of them anymore, sends them to live with their grandmother in Barbados, in Bird Hill, Barbados to be exact, which is why it's called, Star Side of Bird Hill. So their grandmother, whose name is Hyacinth, she is a midwife and a practitioner of the local spiritual practice of Obeah. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, not 100% sure. This tautly paced coming-of-age story builds to a crisis when the father they barely know comes to Bird Hill to reclaim his daughters, and both Phaedra and Dion, oh, I forgot to tell you the other sister's name was Dion. The other sister's name is Dion. Must choose between the Brooklyn they once knew and loved and the Barbados of their family. So it got a starred review from Library Journal and Entertainment Weekly, which if Entertainment Weekly likes something, then, that's the gospel. Said that once in a while, you'll stumble onto a book like this, one so poetic in its descriptions and so alive with lovable, frustrating, painfully real characters that your emotional response to it becomes physical. A wrenching debut, the dual coming-of-age story alone could melt the sternest hearts, but Jackson's exquisite prose is a marvel too. A gem of a book, and they gave it an A, and that made it sound really sad, so I don't know if it's a great beach read, but it got really good reviews. So our next one is The Other Son, which is the sequel to The Andalusian Friend. And it's a Swedish thriller, kind of in the vein of Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, and it's by Alexander Soderberg. So at the end of The Andalusian Friend, Stockholm nurse and single mother Sophie Brinkman was on the run after her romance and with crime lord and patient Hector Guzman ended with Guzman in a coma and her fate with the Guzman family crime syndicate sealed. Kind of like she knows too much, but not really enough to know that she's in a dangerous situation, how it goes with crime syndicate families. So Sophie becomes the family's mouthpiece, making it look like Hector is still in charge and not really in a coma, because that's dangerous. For other crime syndicate families, they could come take over. So when Hector's brother is murdered in Biarritz, Sophie gains the upper hand and intends to use it. In order to survive, she must look inward and find her inner darkness. If not, she will be swallowed whole by the forces closing in on her. Vengeful mobsters, cunning detectives, charismatic arms dealers, and possibly her own son, which I'm thinking that might be the other son of the title. So Publishers Weekly said that readers won't want this fast and furious and fitfully funny roller coaster ride to end. So that sounds pretty exciting. So our next one to follow right along behind The Other Son is The Other Daughter by Lauren Willig, who also wrote the Pink Carnation series, which I really love that series. Well, the first 3 or 4, after that, it kind of does like all series do. So it's a historical fiction with a light touch of romance. Rachel Woodley is working in France in the 20s when she learns that her mother has died. While cleaning out her mother's cottage in her tiny English hometown, she finds a scrapbook that proves that her father is an earl with a debutante daughter that Rachel didn't know about, and that Rachel herself is illegitimate. Scandal. So she's furious, as you are, and grief-stricken. So Rachel heads to London, where she sets herself up under an assumed name and goes about infiltrating the social circles of her father and sister to get revenge for their betrayal. But things go wrong when she starts to actually like her sister and fall for her sister's fiancé. So Booklist called it thrilling and vibrant. So this one's going in my checkout cart. All right, so let's see, where are we going next? Go here with More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. And it's about Aaron Soto, who is growing up in the poverty of the Bronx projects in the near future. And he lives with the shadow of his father's suicide and his own suicide attempt constantly looming over his life. He has a small group of supportive friends and an awesome girlfriend, Genevieve. But when Genevieve goes away for 3 weeks and Aaron meets and starts to feel things for Thomas, things really start to get complicated. Knowing that being gay isn't accepted on his block, he turns to the Latio group to perform their patented memory relief procedure. So think Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And then he has to decide if forgetting who he is the miracle cure-all that Aaron hopes it will be. So I'm thinking it probably isn't, but you'll have to read it to find out. Got a starred review from Booklist that said that Silvera structures his novel beautifully, utilizing careful revelations from Aaron's past and consciousness to create plot tension and twists that turn the narrative on its ear. And the New York Times Book Review gave it a great review and said that it was a beautiful debut novel. So more happy than not. Although it did say too that it wasn't about happy endings, so I don't know. I'm sure it's great though, but no happy ending. Okay, let's go with Heart of Betrayal. This is one of my favorites that I'm talking about this month. It's the second book in the Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson. The first one was Kiss of Deception, where the main character, Princess Leia, was on the run from an arranged marriage and pursued by a prince who is also her thwarted bridegroom, and an assassin who wants to kill her because he's an assassin. And they both kind of end up falling in love with her throughout the book. So that's where the first one ended. And then this second one, The Heart of Betrayal, finds Leia a captive of the nation of Vinda and under the control of its evil leader, the Commissar. Nothing is straightforward. There's the prince who lied to her but has sacrificed his freedom to protect her, and the assassin who meant to assassinate her but now has saved her life. And in the first book, it does alternate between narratives, but you can't tell who is the assassin and who is the prince. It's good stuff. So, the Vindans, who she's always believed to be barbarians, but whom she now realizes are people who have been terribly brutalized by other kingdoms. So a little bit of Stockholm Syndrome going on there. So wrestling with her upbringing, her gift, and her very sense of self, Leia will have to make powerful choices that affect her country, her people, and her own destiny. Dun, dun, dun. So Booklist gave it a starred review and said that there are surprises up until the last. Anticipation for the next volume will start as soon as this one is put down, and that is true. Don't read this if you do not like cliffhanger endings, because there are literally lives hanging in the balance. So I can't wait till the third one comes out. Count down the days. So this one is a good read-alike to the Queen of the Tearling series, because they're both kind of what I like to call dystopian fantasy, where things have gone really wrong and it's kind of thrown the world back into the medieval times. So it's a great, like I said, a great young adult companion to the Queen of the Tearling. So Heart of Betrayal. All right, our next one is another series that I'm a huge fan of. It's the third in the School for Good and Evil series, and it's actually out today. And this one's A World Without Princes, comes after the School for Good and Evil, and what's the second one? A World Without Princes, that was it. So everything old is new again, as Sophie and Agatha fight the past as well. Sophie and Agatha are the main characters, best friends, but they're kind of now enemies, so like the kids say, they're frenemies. So they fight the past as well as the present to find the perfect end to their story. And they went their separate ways at the end of A World Without Princes. Agatha was whisked back to Gavaldon with Tedros, who is the prince, her one true love. And Sophie stayed behind with the beautiful young schoolmaster, though he's kind of evil. But as they settle into their new lives, their story begs to be rewritten. And this time, theirs isn't the only one. With the girls apart, evil has taken over, and the villains of the past have come back to change their tales and turn the world of good and evil upside down. So kind of like what happened this season on Once Upon a Time. And Hook was in the book trailer, so it was a pretty good book trailer. I would recommend it. So this extraordinary conclusion delivers more action, adventure, laughter, romance, and fairy tale twists and turns than you could ever dream of. So like I said, I'm really excited to read this one. I actually might go home and start it this afternoon. So Kirkus said it was well stocked with big themes, inventively spun fairy tale tropes, and flashes of hilarity. So I highly recommend this one for kids of all ages, not just the ones that are actually kids, but anyway. So our last one today is Seraphina and the Black Cloak by debut novelist Robert Beatty, who is from Asheville. And this spooky middle grade is the same age group as The School for Good and Evil. It's a mystery thriller that follows Seraphina, an unusual girl who lives secretly in the basement of the Grand Biltmore estate. Seraphina has never had a reason to disobey her father and venture beyond the grounds of the Biltmore estate, and none of the rich folk upstairs even know that Seraphina exists. Her father is the estate maintenance man, and they've secretly lived in the basement for as long as Seraphina can remember. But when children at the estate start disappearing, only Seraphina knows who the culprit is, a terrifying man in a black cloak who stalks, that's hard to say, black cloak. So he stalks Biltmore's quarters at night. And in this book trailer, he kind of looked like Voldemort walking through Biltmore Estate. Again, you should probably check it out. It was good stuff. Seraphina risks everything by joining forces with Braden Vanderbilt, the young nephew of Biltmore's owners, and Braden and Seraphina must uncover the man in the black cloak's true identity before all the children vanish one by one. So Kirkus said that adults and children will eagerly follow Seraphina from the basement into a world of self-discovery, justice, and new friendships. So again, I will be checking this one out. So another thing to note about this is that on August 1st, Robert Beatty is doing an event at the Barnes & Noble at the Arboretum. And on that day, if you go to the event or if you shop at Barnes & Noble in the store or online and you say that you're from Union County Public Library, then we will get a portion of the proceeds. So look for more information on that around your local library. But be sure and go out and check out Robert Beatty on August 1st. So that's it for the books this time, but a couple of other general library news. We've got 2 weeks left in summer reading, but it's not too late to register, but you're running out of time, if that makes sense. So you can check out any of these books and read them for credit for summer reading really fast so you can get all of the good prizes. And our final parties are coming up, so we've got lots of prizes to give away and all kinds of good stuff. So we've also got coming up in August, not in July, but in August, is our big Friends of the Libraries book sale. And that starts on Thursday, August 20th with a special members-only pre-sale event from 5 to 7. And it's going to be here at the main library this year, not at the mall. So we're going to be here at the main library in the Griffin Room from 5 to 7 if you're a member. If you're not a member, then you can become a member to be part of the special pre-sale at any of your local libraries, or you can renew your membership if you want to get in on the good stuff before everybody else gets it. And then the rest of the book sale is going to be Friday, August 21st through Wednesday, August 26th, and it's going to be open during normal library hours. So those are the big things that we have coming up at the library. And we're getting new books in now all the time, so be sure and stop by and check out these or anything else new that strikes your fancy. Or old, it doesn't have to be new. So that's it for me this time. I'm Lindsay the librarian. Keep reading, Union County.